G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at MP39 Sunstreaker. Now, I was really happy to get this guy back long time ago. I had this sideswipe for the longest time, and I'm like, I can't wait to get a Sunstreaker. I did like Sunstreaker in the show. I'm not overly a fan of what IDW did with him. I honestly am not a huge fan of what IDW did to a lot of characters. As much as a narcissist, I think is the word you use for him. He's definitely be buddy with Trax, comparing who's got the shinier look. Yeah, I did like this character. He was a nice sort of companion piece to his brother Sideswipe. At least that's what I call him. They were always bro and all this and whatnot, or at least some selection of it. But he does look good. He is a very nice masterpiece figure, excluding Hound, Masterpiece Hound, which the numbers is blanking in my mind at the moment. He was one of the last MPs I have bought. I got MP36, I got MP39, so I got Megatron, I got Sunstreaker, and then I got Hound. And I'm like, that's it. I still haven't decided whether I'm getting God Jinrai yet. I'm not taking away from this figure at the moment, but honestly, the truck mode is nice. The trailer is iffy, but that's neither here nor there. I'm getting into things that aren't necessary. So we do have Sunstreaker here, and he does look really, really nice. He does have a bit of kibble, yes. Yeah, we were getting into the kibblies to kibble at this point. Even MP36 had an interesting backpack, but it still was something of a backpack. Everyone complained about Bumblebee and whatnot, and MP44 had his backpack. So yeah, but honestly, when it comes to Sunstreaker, I don't know where else you'd put it. This was basically how his back looked, but as for it being flat, I don't know how you would have accomplished that otherwise. Maybe some other figure will do, other company will do it. I know Bad Cube did their Sunstreaker, and that was the primary figure to get at the time, but I never got him, although I do like my Bad Cubes. So we can get down to accessories before we go too much further. He obviously has his gun here, but he also has another one that I've actually temporarily hidden. We'll flip up this leg for a moment and we fold this out, and you can just make out the barrel. If you flip up here and it doesn't pop off, you have another gun, and we'll just close that up. Oh, by the way, for anyone curious, it was just plugged into there, and it was basically that way around. Reminds me very much of RoboCop. Yeah. But he does have this one, and I've got the instructions near me, but I can't remember what the gun's called. And I won't lie, I fiddled with this before I did this review, and this is stupid tight. So you do get that gun if that's something you want. And I'll take a quick peek at the instructions. Because, by God, as much of a fan as I am, I do not know every single one. So that's the Electron Pulse Gun. Otherwise, according to what little English is actually in there, it is a folding machine gun. So take that for what you will. But yeah, you can use this in both modes. He has tab in the palm for both. Honestly, I know they weren't really doing it this time, but Fans Toys whole slide in the top of the hand, I wish more figures would do that. So we have that, and of course you just slide that back and bring this back, and then it's transformed. For now, I'm not going to put that back in his leg just yet. We do get a card, which is a very, very lovely card. He is nowhere near as shiny as the card shows off, but it is nice. We get, surprisingly, and I do not understand why, we got Chip Chase with him. I don't know why. I know Takara hasn't done an MP Perceptor, and that would have made a whole lot more sense. Or even an MP Beachcomber. So why they paired him with Sunstreaker, I'm not sure. I'm sure there is a episode to do with that, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. I know that my Bumblebee came with, I want to say, one of my Daniels. Roll came with Trax. So I'm not quite sure why Chip Chase came with Sunstreaker. Also, if you are so inclined and you can still get this guy, you can just barely make out his glasses. So if you really want to do some paintage, feel free painting his glasses. He does come separate. However, he cannot sit in Sunstreaker. So sorry to say that, but he can't sit in Sunstreaker. Now this is going to be interesting to try and do. So hopefully it'll stay somewhat focused. We do have alternative faces. We have this one, which is him just going off his head. I am the prettiest. Get bugged. We have his original face that I don't currently use, which is more of a neutral face. It also, to me, just looks like he's scowling and goes like, whatever. Of course, we have the smile that's currently on his actual mug. But we also have the alien face from Hoist Goes to Hollywood. And I want to say I've now got all the bots that wear these masks. So it was Hoist, Sunstreaker, Warpath, and my brain's telling me Power Glide, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Power Glide. Also, my brain's telling me it was. See if I can see it. No, I want to say it was Sunstreaker. Was it? There was a fourth one. There was Hoist, Sunstreaker. It might have been Trax. I can't remember. There's always one that I forget. So there we go. So bring him back in, and we'll focus him back in. All right, we can get down to articulation. I am just going to take his gun out of his hand, as it doesn't sit very well. I'm actually thinking I might actually thicken that up. Also, if for weapon storage, you do have these two pegs here. You have one port, I should say. You got a peg here, and you can just plug that into his back. If I can line it up properly. And voila, storage. All right. So as for articulation, and he has quite a bit of articulation. Head can do a full 360 on a ball joint. He can look up that far, way up. He can look down that yay, except if you use his front of his head, he can look down further, sort of. He actually has side to side, which is nice, especially if you want that sort of snarky look. His arms can do a full 360. They come up this far. He also has butterfly joint that gets you that far, which is nice, because I want to say probably around MP36 we were getting those butterfly joints. If it helps, this does that. If that helps, and that spins, but that's more transformation. He has bicep rotation. He has kind of a single double jointed elbow. So this moved, that's not the elbow. That's actually the transformation joint, which I won't lie, I'm kind of happy that does that because it makes the transformation easier. But the actual joint is down here. So it gets you that far. You have wrist rotation. You have pin for the thumb, which is one piece, and pin for the fingers, so it's with typewriter fingers, so you have that. You also have in and out as well. The waist swivel is iffy. It really is. So you have waist swivel. Okay, this time it actually wanted to work for me properly. Last time when I was filming with this before I did the review, I wanted to make sure my transformation was right, and I kept clipping that butt plate. But you have waist swivel. You have a untabbing ab crunch, although it's more rearing back at the moment. So I don't think I got anything in the wrong spot. So you can tilt back a bit and sort of tilt forward. Legs go up that far. Legs go back that far before you start hitting things. Legs go up way high. You have a upper thigh rotation at the hip. And this is on tabbing. A lot of things in this don't really tab in place. It's weird. You have a knee bend, and if I bring this forward, you can get quite that bend of that knee, and it is a soft ratchet, and it's quite a ratchet in the hip. You have ankle tilt this way, you have ankle tilt down that way, you have slightly that way, and a little bit up. So yeah, you have quite a bit of movement in his feet. So there we go. Right, let's get down to transformation. There's actually a step I will show you that I didn't really use for all this time, and I still don't see the real point using it, honestly. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lift up the chest plate for the moment. And you have these two tabs. I never used these. So the idea is, if I can show it, you have this port here, tabs on there. Honestly, it tabs in. At least on mine, it's a bit loose. So honestly, if you feel like you don't want to use that, just fold them down, which we're going to do for transformation. And that's just fine anyway. His arms aren't going to unlock or anything. So I don't see it as a massive necessity for the transformation, but it's there if you want to use it. All right, let's get down these hands. They will seem awkward more than they are. So fold the thumb in, fold the finger in all the way, and rotate it so our elbow's pointed out. You're going to grab in here. This will flip out, and that flip all the way, so we got all this cover. Now this is why I like my elbows doing what they're doing. So when I bend it, now it's not going to do it. This needs to pop out. So what I'll do is I'll just put that back in place. Here we go. And pull all this back out again, and that's going to slide up into here. So it's going to sit against his shoulder. Now this all is going to flip up. So you actually want to bend this so it's facing like the hand. Bring all this up, and that's all going to fold in on itself. And then you want to bring this back, and it's going to go over the back of his arm. And then you can press all that, and we flip this around like so. Right, same on the other side. So we'll flip that around. You're going to make sure everything's nice and closed up. Rotate that elbow. That one's a lot looser, so it's easier. Bring that all around. Bring this up. Bring this back. And lock in. That does rub, so be aware of that. Now, if you have untabbed the chest plate, you can push his head down, and it's on a slider, which is easy to get back at again. We're going to rotate that chest panel just so it's where we want it. We can then flip this out, and these are going to go into the side of his head. So you just sort of want to have that pressed in, and just make your way past those ears. So that's probably the only real reason why those are there. Come on. Might not have twisted it far enough. There we go. Nope. I think I'm rubbing against something. I think my shoulder's not quite situated properly. There we go. Nice and smooth. All right, let's get to the backpack. Now, this will be a little bit tricky and a little bit fiddly. What you want to do is you're going to unpeg this, and that will unlock the backpack. You're going to bring out. Just be careful of your front windscreen. I will get to that in a minute. I'm just going to bring that down for the moment. This is then all going to fold out. So we're just going to rotate this out, rotate this out. So we have some clearance. Bring this down, and that's all going to fold out like that. You then have a rotation here. It's a ratchet, so be careful because this is plastic. So just gently rotate it around. I am worried about how that is. So far, I've transported a few times and not had the problem, but I am cautious. So then these two, here it is. These two tabs, I keep saying the wrong words. These two ports are going to go into these two gaps. So when we flip that up, like so, we can then come under here. I can lift the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. That's going to tab in there. That's going to tab in there if it hasn't already. Yep. And that will sit like that. We can then lift this one up. So we're not going to do anything else just quite yet. We're going to lift the front skirt up on both sides because I want to get this windscreen around the other way. So I'm going to bring this down for the moment. So that just swings around. I'm going to sort of angle that the best I can and bring these actually further back. And very carefully, I'm going to rotate just the center section. So you're just moving the windscreen. And that's going to come around here. And that can sit the way it is. Note, my windscreen has a crack in it. It is because it kept popping off. I've ultimately glued that in place. It still works perfectly fine. It's just, yeah, what it is. All right. So what we are going to do then is, we'll just keep that alive. We're going to work on these legs, so I can drop that camera a little bit. All right. So they seem complicated. They're not. They're actually quite interesting. So you're going to flip this piece out and flip this piece up. You need to get this up and just against the thigh. You're going to come under here and just rotate the foot out a little bit. It's not going to go very far. Now, be careful of the doors. Oh, that reminds me. That's the other accessory, which, while I'm thinking of it, you have spare mirrors because of this very reason. So you're going to pull this out and you basically want to just get this around and get this up. So you have somewhat of a clearance. You have this joint here, which is more for vehicle mode, and we'll get to that. And what you want to do is you want to flip up this. Now, I find my mirrors get stuck. So just be careful as you're flipping up. You may have to push this itself to get it where you want it. And that is one window done. So what we can do then is we can come under the foot and flip the wheel out like so. Bring the heel in, and we're going to bring it back. It's very much, I have to get the thing in place first. It reminds me very much of, beg my pardon, of the wheels on Ironhide's, on Ironhide's and Ratchet's legs. So then we can rotate that around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift all this up. Excuse me. Nothing like getting interrupted by the neighbor's cat. All right, so this is going to fold up into here, and you're also going to bring all this around. So up and around and up. And we're not going to fully situate it yet, but we will just fold this down for the moment. There is a slight tab there, but we're not going to use that for the transformation. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So flip this out, flip this up. It's up to you if you want to remove the gun, which I think you actually will have to for this mode, because I don't think the legs will actually tab in properly together. So we get into here, get that ankle a little bit out of the way, and try our best to get our mirror out and up. Oh, that one was all right. Doing this earlier, that was giving me a bit of trouble. All right, so then we can fix the foot up. Fold that out. Fold that in. Fold that around like so, and straighten that out. It's not going to push back or anything. And then we want to bring that up, bring that down like so. All right, now to try and get things start to solidify. So I'm going to bring this forward and I'm going to bring this down the best I can. I'm not quite sure where the exact clearance is for it. Probably would have been easier if I'd done it post rotation of the windscreen. So I'm just going to move that a little bit without ruining the, yeah. So I probably should have done it before I twisted this around, if it'll still work. So try to fold that down. I think I'm still going to have clearance issues. And it doesn't fold up any further. So I think I just need to get it as far down as I can, because the idea is this has to go under here. So I'm just, if I move, yeah. So I've just used that ab to get it down and then try my best to line things up. So just a little port that goes under here. Bring these down if they aren't already. Bring this up, and that can just sit over the top, and then we can bring the legs in. Just keep that out of the way for the time being because we don't need it. And you have 2 sets of pegs, sort of. You have this one here, which will plug into this here and behind here. I'm sure there's plugs in the inside of the legs. I just can't quite remember where they are. So just getting all this cleared out and just line things up. And if I've lined everything up correctly, everything should tab in perfectly fine, and I won't have any issues. Get that in there, like so. There we are. Things are tabbing in right where I want them. Now, as for these pieces, that's just going to come down under here, and it's just going to flatten out. Now, we're not going to do these pieces yet. We need to get the back end into place, and it has slightly its own issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold these down, if I remember correctly. All right, so they're flat. We're going to come back here. We're going to rotate this inward, and then we're going to slowly slide them back, and they're going to tab in together. Then we can bring this up like so, and then we're going to bring all this forward. So it'll wrap around the back end, all up and in, and as long as things tab in where they're supposed to, we'll be right. They can go back down. And then what we can do is we can fix up these side pieces. They're going to come up and under, and then these are going to go under here, like so. There's a little bit of a clearance issue, but nothing too extreme. Just make sure those windows are pointing down. Angle those properly, like so. And then we can bring these doors in, so just slide in and down. They have their own little spots to plug in. Same on the other side. And give things a bit of squeeze. Make sure things are situated without breaking things. My things pop back up again. So that's why I have a raised one. So at some point I've pulled a foot. I'm not going to fiddle with that. It can stay where it is. It's fine. Obviously, if you want to fiddle with it a bit more, that's up to you. We can come back here and we can fold this out and slide this down and under, and slide this down and under. And there is Sunstreaker in his car mode. Now, I know what some of you are saying, especially you G1 fans. That's not Sunstreaker, that's Sideswipe. You're not wrong. This is indeed Sideswipe's car mode. They give you the choice to display your Sideswipe, your Sunstreaker, if you want to match Sunstreaker's Sideswipe's look. Since they're both, I believe, both a Countach. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you wanted a matching brotherly pair of Lamborghinis, there is your choice. Works perfectly fine, but of course it isn't quite the look for Sunstreaker. So we do have another transformation to go before we get into size comparisons, and that is what's going to turn this guy into the Sunstreaker we all know and love. So we can untab that again, just to give that a bit of clearance. The doors might come with it, so we'll just get those out of the way. I said I'm not going to fix that. I'm probably going to call myself a liar. No, bugger it. All right, so I am going to very gently, and just because I'm worried about this back end, you're going to push the tail back. It'll give you a bit more clearance. You're going to flip all this up again, because you would have saw the chrome earlier. We're going to flip these up. And I forgot to do it. We're going to flip these up and over just to both get them out of the way and get them where they should be. So what you got to do is you got to get this flipped around. So it's going to flip up like so. And if everything's sitting where it's supposed to, and I don't, because I think I have to lift these up, get these past the back end, and I'm probably going to scratch a bit of chrome doing that, and flip that all around, like so. Oh, I forgot to drop this piece too. So there we have that. Now, if you want, you can store this. There is this little piece here, which is part of the flippy. And all you do is you press that into there, and you can have weapon storage. There's no option like that for the other gun, and I'm keeping that out for a reason. So what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to fold all this around. This is all going to come up and lock into place like it was before. If you didn't just do it just then, you can slide the spoiler forward again, which I partly did, I think. I'm supposed to. I thought I missed something. I might need to. I think I can get that spoiler to slide backward. There we go. These are going to come down underneath. I believe they sit flat. And, oh, whoops. That back together. And then slide that forward. Tab things back where they're supposed to go. I will just get my doors out of the way to make it a little bit easier. And that goes into there. That goes into there. These will sort of sit slightly risen. I always think that these move. They do a little bit, but I don't think they'll sort of lift up a bit. Yeah, so they lift up. I always have the feeling they roll out, but apparently not. So make sure everything's lined up where it is, and put your doors back where they're supposed to go. Like so. And bugger it, I'm just going to push those down. Now, if you want, this is the proper Sunstreaker look. If you want this a little bit more authentic, you can, of course, drop these back around and hide those. But that is your proper Sunstreaker. It does look good. I do like the chrome, but I also don't like the chrome because, as I have experienced from my MP10, I'm losing chrome all over the place. I want to say there was an option. It might have been a later thing with them, but I could have swore I remember seeing someone having an alternative exhaust system and everything. If you wanted a standard one, I might be thinking of a different figure. I'm just having a quick look on the box. That wasn't this one. Maybe someone did an aftermarket part. I can't remember. So there we go. Now, he can do a few things in this mode before we get down to size comparison. We have got display mode, preferably focused. So, of course, you can open the doors, as we've done several times, and now I've locked it into place. And we can flip this out a little bit to lift it up more. Sort of, kind of. And of course, that way you can show like, is the interior. There's no interior. That's why I said you ain't going to put chip in here. You can flip this up, which is actually nicely the way it's situated. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not completely a car person. And, well, you know, details. That's the boot, that's the trunk, whatever you want to call it. There's your engine. So you have that as an option. Something I wish X-Transbots would learn with this. If you saw under here, you can push this up. And you have lights. Now, obviously, there's no batteries, but you do have lights. And that goes down, and it's smooth. It doesn't get stuck. Now, you can use the guns in this mode. There is a little notch back here. That is kind of in the other mode, but I think it's actually more where it sits. So you can use that. It's a sort of a loose connection. It's not, that doesn't move at all. It's just a loose one, so you can just sort of friction. You can take the other gun, and I didn't transform it back. And of course, you can take that and plug that in there. Oops. Plug that in there. There we go. Nope, is it? I keep folding the handle down. I'm also looking at it at a weird angle. There we go. So you can have that if that's what you want. I think that looks a little bit better with gun mode. He does have one other thing, and it is a little awkward to get to with the way his tail is. But if you fold this around, and hopefully you get past those chrome intakes and come back here, you can flip up this piece, and that is his anti-aircraft gun. I feel like it should be able to point more backwards, but I can't really get it without things wanting to transform on me. And I'm just have a quick look at the instructions, because I don't even think it shows it pointing backwards. No, it's just sort of pointed up. Yeah. So I've actually haven't quite got, oh, hang on, I know what it is. If I pull that back, now it leans back a bit more. I thought I was missing something. I always miss something. There's always something. All right. So let's get down to fiddliness. Get that around there, get that around there, and bring that back. Slide that back in place. So we can get our first size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. So yeah, almost about her size in vehicle mode. We do have, of course, chip. So that's probably the right size. But yeah, he's not getting in there anytime soon. All right, let's get this guy back into robot mode. So we are going to slide this back so I can at least get these chrome wings the way I want them to. And we are going to get those windows also out of the way very carefully. And we're going to fold these pieces out so that gives us clearance for our backpack, which I don't know why that one's a bit tighter, but I'm going to fold all this down because just to get out of the way, I'm going to fold up this, if I can get it up, just to give us a bit more clearance, hopefully. And we're going to flip all this up and back. Of course, if you've folded these down, you need to fold them back in place. We're going to flip all that around. So you do want the backpack to look like it's going into the other mode, and that can flip down. We want to flip these up because they will fill in some gaps afterwards. We want these facing this away, so that away. And we can bring, that can actually stay where it is, so at least that way we don't have to fight some mess. All right, we're going to flip this up. Oh, not yet. Yeah, do we want? Yeah, we want it. All right, so I'm going to untab his feet and just bring it down looking like it's turning into Scorponok, like so. Then we can flip this up to give us some clearance for that. And we can bring all this back. We can bring, hopefully, that hip to bring the bonnet forward so we can get this out of the way. And this can come up. All right, so now we'll do up the legs. So we're going to extend all the way out. We are going to bring the inside of the calf down. We're going to flip up the foot and turn it just a bit so we got a bit more clearance. Get this all up as far as we can and fold. And you just need to make sure this is going to go behind his leg. It will not tab, but just make sure it clears it. And then just press it up. Like I said, there's no tab there. It's just sits there. This can then come down and wrap around the back of his leg. So that fills in that gap. We can come under here. We can fold out his heel, bring this up and back, which is awkward. It's just a matter of getting the feel. There it is. And then, of course, we can put that where his foot's supposed to go. And we'll leave that for now so we can still keep some clearance. We're going to fold this down. I'm going to bring this down. And same on the other one. And I'm pulling my thing. I don't know why. I'm going to bring this all up and oh no. I just broke his leg. Okay, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to get that fixed, but I've got his leg where it's supposed to go, so at least it's not going anywhere. So fold that around, bring this down, and bring this out. Bring that around, like so, and we have the other leg done. Like I said, that's going to hold that in place, and considering I don't really play with him or anything, it should be fine. Just be careful. Bring these around and down. Same on the other side. And we have our legs all done. We can bring this down. I'm just going to bring this down a little bit because we need to get, like I said, all this around. And very carefully without breaking anything else. Bring that around. And there we go. So we can flip this up for now. And that will just sort of sit under here because we are going to need to get other things in place. This is going to come down, and I'm just looking at that ab crunch. So we're going to bring all this back now and untab all that. We're going to be very careful with this, and that's going to rotate. And then what we want to do is we want to bend this in. So it will sit in here. All this will line up. And then we need to get these tips under the windscreen. So bring down, and may flip itself up. Bring it up as far as it go, and then bring it against his back. And use the hook to hook his backpack in place. And hopefully his butt is in the right spot. We can then rotate his chest plate. And we're not going to drop it just yet. We're going to bring the arms down like so. And bring the other one down. This is where you can untab these. I'm not going to bother. To get his head up, there is a little piece where you can grab onto with your thumb and flip that up. And then they can just sit flat and press on the windows to get them where they want to be. We can then do the arms. We're going to rotate this around. And we can bring this out. You're going to try your best to get your nail under there. Flip this up and pull. And that should clear all that. And then bring the whole thing out. Rotate it back. And then just fill in the back of his forearm the best you can. There we go. And then rotate that. So we have one arm where it's supposed to be. You can fiddle with his head a little bit if you want. Rotate that one around and bring that out. You're going to flip this out and just give it a pull and flip all that out and then fold it back and fill in the back of his forearm and rotate that the way it's supposed to be. And there we have Sunstreaker all transformed once again. And then you just got to fiddle with him to get him exactly standing how you want him. Of course, then you can also play with his fingers to get his hands how you want them. So there we go. Stop fiddling. All right, so final size comparisons in this mode. Of course, why not? There he is with Chip, which seems about right. Here he is with his brother Sideswipe. And they look pretty good together, even though I admit Sideswipe is looking a little dated. But, you know, considering he's MP12 and Sunstreaker's MP39, that's a long, long gap. And, of course, we have MP10, Optimus Prime. I do feel he's a little short. I think he should be a little bit up here, but I could be wrong. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.